Now to growing concerns about the deadly coronavirus officially hitting the U.S. Here's what we know. A Washington state resident fell ill after returning from Wuhan, China, where the outbreak began. Officials now say more than 400 people have been sickened and 9 people have died.
I would say that as we were following the COVID-19 outbreak, we were consulting with all of the people and science and medical professionals that we could. There was a lot of conversation with peers across the country, and the decision to virtualize our experience was incredibly hard. Candidly, it felt unimaginable to do that, but clearly, based on the evidence, it was the right thing when we prioritized the safety of our community.
Hello, everybody. I had to do that. All right. I was in complete disbelief. I had no clue at all how this would impact the rest of my semester. And it feels selfish to want to have all these final big senior moments. Senior week, graduation, for nurses, the pinning ceremony. There's so much tradition that goes into that last semester of college, and I had no idea how to feel about the loss of those moments.
I realized how important Queens was for me. It was a space where I got to grow as an individual, pursue my passions, meet new people, try new things, experience new things, and it was taken away super quickly. And I knew that going back home meant all of that had to be put on hold, just because I am a Latina and I grew up in a Latino household and I am the older sibling. So I knew that coming back home meant cooking, cleaning, taking care of my little sister, taking care of my parents because they were probably freaking out, translating what was on the news, translating the phone calls to emails, writing it was like a lot of new responsibilities.
Whenever I had to say goodbye to my friends, that's when it actually affected me. I realized that most of my senior friends live in a different states, and I might not be able to see them until graduation, or I don't know when.
This is still something that just seems so impossible. Like, this is not something that you could ever imagine happening.
So, on March 17th, I became very, very sick. At first, it just seemed like a flu. About 8 days of not really getting substantially better, I started to develop respiratory symptoms in the second week of illness, and that's when I realized whatever I had was really progressing and taking a toll on my breathing and everyday life. So that's when I had to speak with a doctor and become tested for coronavirus and tested positive. So with that news coming into my life and my family's life, it was pretty crazy. With this being said, of course, me and my family were on social media and news channels every single day trying to find updates of accuracy and all of this. It was so confusing. Everything seemed like such a blur. My initial symptoms didn't match the original 3 that they were saying. I never had the dry cough, so we got pretty involved in looking at all that, but eventually I had to cut it all off. I had to just get off of social media, get off of the internet, and just take it for what I have, heal myself and just focus on my well-being.
Our population has been trying to keep the mood as optimistic as possible. Through like Twitter, TikTok, trying to keep the mood optimistic. And I think, for example, for me, I downloaded TikTok. I had to spend my 21st birthday, studying and taking exams and cooped up in my house. So I made a TikTok about that, and we're all just making each other laugh, making each other feel like we are supported, or at least trying to. And I think that's really important. And one of the things that really stands out about our Queens community.
It's been a hard adjustment, and to stay connected and, still feel that supportive community around you, even if you're hundreds of miles away from Queens, like it's something really special. I think this has been able to connect us with not only each other, but with the whole world right now.
It's really cool to be connected through social media, and like before I didn't see the use of social media that much when it came to checking up on people, just because you saw them. You saw whether they were in the lawn or in the Trexler courtyard or in class, you saw what they were doing all the time. But I think now, since we're apart and we're separated, being able to have social media and to see what people are up to, whether they're trying a new workout routine or trying a new recipe, I think it's a really cool thing to stay connected.
And yes, I have been using a lot of social media to track COVID-19, but I have been basing off my information from official websites like CDC, New York Times, the Mecklenburg County here, because I live in Charlotte. So I have been using social media to keep track, but I always try to follow the official statements from the state.
Use it that much only for class and sometimes just to look through it. And I also sometimes use it to see what's going on in the world. And then I go on LinkedIn too, just to see how people are reacting themselves in the business world. Also to check the news. They have a news function on there. So I check the news that way as well.
I mean, none of us really know what is next, you know? It's kind of scary. And to be able to stay connected with people everywhere is huge.
So I think for the rest of the semester, we've got about a week and a half left. And I think we just need to remember that we are there for each other, our community is there for each other. We can reach out when we need help. So I think that's one of the best things about our small community at Queens, is that we're very tight-knit.
I really hope once all of this might settle down, we can start our new normal and maybe see each other in face to face again.
And yeah, I really hope this all ends soon. I miss everybody.
I think keeping our Queens group together and making us strong through connections and seeing each other's faces is really special. So I hope everyone out there is doing well. Keep using Zoom, meet with your teams, meet with your clubs and organizations, and just enjoy each other, love each other, and let's get through this time. We are Queens.
We are Queens.
We are Queens.
We are Queens. We are Queens.
We are Queens.
We are Queens.
We are Queens.
We are Queens.
We are Queens.